Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Ray Tampa podcast. Our podcast is new. Our podcast is bold. Truth is our guiding principle, but political correctness is out the door. We will tell it like it is. My name is Ray Tampa, and I'm the host of the Ray Tampa podcast. Today, we have only one of the two co-hosts, normal co-hosts, but today we have Jamie Wilson, the third. And what we're going to do today is talk about sheroes and heroes in our community. Sheroes and heroes. I'm going to read an article that I wrote. And following the reading of the article, Mr. Jamie Wilson and I will talk about our community and the heroes and sheroes that we have. The title of the article, Heroes and Sheroes in Our St. Petersburg Community, Past and Present. St. Petersburg, Florida, our hometown, is gloriously and historically noted as a city full of heroes and sheroes. For context, I want to share the dictionary definition of the word hero. A hero is a person who is admired or idealized for courage, outstanding achievements, or noble qualities. Now, even with this textbook definition of the word hero, we can still have varying degrees of acceptance of just who fits the definition in the truest sense. How many of you remember Donald Trump's infamous statement about Senator John McCain when he said, quote, "People think he's a hero because he was captured. I like heroes who weren't captured," end of quote. As offensive as that statement was to vast numbers of people, it nevertheless pointed out that everyone has his or her own ability to identify the qualities of a hero. No doubt, we have all heard someone say, quote, "My dad is my hero," or "My brother is my hero," or "My fourth grade teacher is my hero," or "The quarterback on my football team is my hero," etc., etc., etc. Just like beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, heroism is in the minds of the beholder. Your hero is just that, your hero. Generally, for the purpose of this article, we're going to suggest that heroes are those individuals who fit the definition offered earlier and are accepted as such by the masses. That being the case, I'm going to offer a list of individuals in our community, past and present, who are bona fide and certified heroes and sheroes. This list is representative of people in all sections of our community, namely education, political, religious, business, healthcare, community activists, athletics, and the arts. Here's the list of our heroes and sheroes as identified by the Ray Tampa podcast. Number one, Judge James B. Sanderland. Number 2, Attorney Fred G. Menace. Number 3, Reverend Enoch Davis. Number 4, Pastor Clarence Williams. Number 5, Bishop John Copeland. Number 6, Thomas Jet Jackson. Number 7, Coach Freddie Dowse. Number 8, Coach Daniel Wright. Number 9, actress Angela Bassett. Number 10, movie producer Will Packard. Number 11, Brigadier General Carrie Nero. Number 12, Nurse Marie Yop. Number 13, politician, educator, and everything else, Douglas Jamerson. Number 14, attorney Morris Milton. Number 15, educator, historian, Minson Rubin. Number 16, journalist, reporter, writer, Peggy Peterman. And number 17, Cleveland Johnson, publisher for the Weekly Challenger. Please, please do not allow yourselves to think that this list is all inclusive. I will be the first to say that there are hundreds of other names that can easily be added to this list, but time and space won't allow it. This list sets the marker for our source of pride in our city, past and present. Thank you. So again, what Mr. Wilson and I are going to do is we're going to pull out some names on the list, and we're going to talk about the individuals we identified, as well as some names that may not be on the list. So Jay, I'm going to give you the opportunity to start us off.
Okay, one, because I'm familiar with, that's Mr. Judge James B. Sanderland, first Black judge in Pinellas County. That was in 1972. In 1976, he was elected to Circuit Court Judge of Pinellas County and Pasco counties. And he has a school right now here in St. Pete, where Majid's son and a lot of my other relatives went. A great man, and there's many more. We also have, I believe on the list is Will Packard. It was at FAMU College where he started his filmmaking business. That's part of his internship under a veteran filmmaker named Warrington Hudlin. They made their first film that was Chocolate City. Cost him about $20,000. Packard was able to distribute a deal with Blockbuster. So he was also a good businessman too. And after graduating from college, him and his partner, Rob Harley, they moved to Atlanta and they founded the Rainforest Films. Packard was in charge of producing and overseeing the company's films and distribution projects. And in 2017, Mr. Packard started his new company known as Will Packard Media and branded content digitally production company in partnership with Discovery Communications and Universal Pictures. He was very busy with what he was doing. He's an outstanding guy. His portfolios include more than 36 feature films, some of which like The Gospel, Stump the Yard, Takers, Think Like a Man, Ride Along. I mean, just even a lot of the current stuff in the last 10 years. It's been busy.
Okay.
Outstanding individual.
Okay. I'm going to piggyback on a couple of the names you mentioned, such as Judge Sanderlin.
Mhm.
You know, sure enough, we have the elementary, middle school named in his honor, and we also have the Sanderlin Community Center named in his honor. But Judge Sanderlin was a giant in terms of legal scholarship.
Mhm.
He lent his legal knowledge to some very important causes during some turbulent times in our city. Turbulent times such as the garbage strike in the city. He lent his legal resources there, and he lent his legal resources to the desegregation issue in Pinellas County.
Mm.
He was able to help get the Black students integrated into the school system
Right.
a little smoother with his legal knowledge. Judge Sanderlin is a real hero.
Oh, definitely that.
Most definitely.
Definitely that.
And, you know, you mentioned Angela Bassett.
Mhm.
From a personal experience, my sister, my oldest sister,
Mhm.
and Angela's mom were very close. I'm talking very close.
Mhm.
Personally, Angela spent a lot of time over to my house in the younger days,
Right.
she and her sister. So I was so pleased to see her grow up to be the woman she is,
Right.
the actress she is, the producer she is. So she's definitely a hero in our community with all the achievements,
Mhm.
all the awards, the accolades.
Yeah.
Angela Bassett.
That's just.
And the same thing for Will Packer, all the
Right.
achievements, same thing. But the name from the list that I would like to introduce for discussion is Thomas Jet Jackson.
Oh, Jet.
Oh, Jet, you got that right.
Yeah.
You know, for those who may not know, Jet Jackson worked for the city of St. Petersburg for 56 years. He started out at the pool, Jenny Hall Pool, and Jet was a swimming coach.
Yep.
Jet was an athlete. He was a very, very talented athlete. And he taught a lot of his skills to the younger kids, the younger adults. I remember Norvell Fuller, a very talented swimmer, very talented football player, very talented wrestler, giving Jet his due diligence, talking about he owes a lot to this man right here,
Mhm.
Jet Jackson. But that's who Jet was. Jet was unselfish in sharing his knowledge, his skills, his time, his energy with young people.
Right.
That's why the recreation center out at Wildwood is named in his honor,
Yeah.
the Thomas Jet Jackson Recreation Center
Mhm.
at Wildwood. Jet is at this point in his life still very active in our community,
Mhm.
very active in the political scenes, in the social scenes, what have you. Thomas Jet Jackson, a real hero.
You know, it's real good to talk about these heroes in our community because, like, there's names on the list I know nothing about,
Right.
and it's really good to hear and hear their struggles, how they fought and represented for us. Because I know back then it was segregation. It was, well, it's bad now, but I know it was worse back then. And I remember Jet as a kid. My family knew him. You know, everybody I guess went to Gibbs. He also dealt with the knuckleheads too, because he did a lot for Campbell's Park as well.
Yes.
I was one of the knuckleheads. I got in a little fight and I had to do some service there, and he was there, and he was a good guy. He was fair.
Well, you know, based on you bringing to our attention
Mhm.
your personal experiences with
Mhm.
Jet Jackson,
Mhm.
there are thousands of young men in our community that can do the same thing.
Oh yeah,
because
definitely.
he was just that involved.
Mhm.
And
Real good guy.
the guy's awesome. Thomas Jet Jackson.
Yep. Yep.
The next person I would like to bring forward for discussion from the list is the iconic basketball coach at Gibbs High School, Freddie Dowes. Freddie Dowes celebrated a lot of history with his success at Gibbs High School in terms of the basketball team. In 1966, he won the state championship. 1967, he went to the regionals, but didn't get past the regionals. Had a successful year, but didn't get past the regionals. Then in 1969, he won another state championship. Freddie Dowes coached some of the best talent in Pinellas County, in the history of Pinellas County, really, some of the best talent. Freddie Dowes left 16th Street Junior High School and moved over to Gibbs High School. He had a lot of success at 16th Street Junior High School, winning championships and having very successful seasons year after year. And that same success followed him to Gibbs High School. At the point that Freddie Dowes retired as a coach, he was the winningest basketball coach in the state's history.
Wow.
At that point, with 647 victories.
Wow.
Over the course of 3 decades. Plus, Freddie Dowes coached and mentored some real superstars who turned out to be some of this country's most productive citizens. The gymnasium at Gibbs High School is named in his honor. And I want to make this point. The next person I'm going to discuss is Coach Dan Wright. Dan Wright was one of Freddie Dowes' top athletes. And when Dan Wright went to college, he succeeded in college over at Rollins College. And then he came to Pinellas County, got a job at Lakewood High School, and became the winningest coach in the state's history because he broke Freddie Dowes' record.
Really?
Here it is, one of Freddie Dowes' players. One of his players followed and broke his record, Dan Wright. Dan Wright, like Freddie Dowes, coached some real superstars during his tenure at Lakewood High School. As a matter of fact, at Lakewood, they just had last week a Hall of Fame celebration. And some of the guys that were coached by Dan Wright were inducted into the Lakewood Hall of Fame.
Nice.
Some real serious talents.
Nice.
So I love the fact that Dan Wright spent his entire 35 years plus at one school, Lakewood. And he coached some real superstars, just like his previous coach, Freddie Dowes, did. Matter of fact, my sons played for Dan Wright at Lakewood, and they achieved a lot of success on the basketball court under his tutelage. Dan Wright has a son that was also on the basketball team, and now he's a pharmacist, if I'm correct, in the Atlanta area, doing extremely well. But Dan has always looked after the interests of the kids in terms of maturing and looking after their futures. It wasn't all about basketball.
Right.
I have nothing but the utmost respect for Coach Dan Wright. Dan Wright.
And right. Okay. Yeah, I've seen him around. I've seen him around here.
Well,
about him.
The next person I want to bring up is Dr. Brigadier General Kerry Nero. Kerry Nero has a very interesting background. And she's indeed a hero. A Shero. A Shero. I want to share with our audience some information that was shared during Black History Month In 2000 and well, the year, I'm trying to get the year correct. I think it was 2018. The Business and Professional Women of Florida selected Dr. Carrie Nero as their recipient of the Glass Ceiling Award. The award is presented to those women who have successfully broken the barrier for advancement within their profession or organization, enabling them to reach the management level positions previously barred to women. From all appearances, it seems this award was made specifically for Dr. Nero. After she graduated from Gibbs High School, Dr. Nero attended community college and became a nurse. She felt that her first desire to join the military had taken a back seat to her present field of nursing. She prepared herself to attend the University of South Florida for furtherance of her education. While working at a local hospital as a nurse, a military recruiter visited the hospital looking for nurses with specialties. Dr. Nero was a surgical nurse, so she certainly fit the bill for what he was looking for. She signed up immediately. She was given the rank of first lieutenant in the Army Reserves. And in 1975, she began her path of pursuing two parallel careers, one in nursing and the other as a military officer. Dr. Nero set very high goals for herself. She received multiple degrees from USF, such as a bachelor of in counseling, a bachelor degree in counseling and behavioral health, a master's degree in nursing, and a doctorate degree in higher education. As a member of the military, Dr. Nero attended training all over the world, including a year at Army War College. In 2002, Dr. Nero was awarded the rank of Brigadier General in the Army Reserves due to her commitment and dedication to the military. She made history by being the first African-American to achieve such a high rank. Just think, from our community, St. Petersburg, we have in our midst a person of the stature of Dr. Carrie Nero, just one of the many Sheroes that we can talk about.
Yeah, first African-American nurse to obtain the rank of general. That's outstanding.
First African-American
Nurse.
To attain that rank.
Yeah, as a nurse, as far as that.
Now, Jay, I remember you wanting to talk about a person who was not on this list. Who might that be at this point?
I say the name wrong, but it's Joe
O'Malley.
Wallace.
Okay,
Yeah,
Joe
yeah,
Wallace.
Right.
O'Malley Yesatella.
O'Malley Yesatella. Yeah, I feel like he was a hero because I feel like he really took one for the cause, for the team, although he was punished for it. But that mural that he took down, that was big back then. And he really took a chance. I hear he was a very good speaker. I mean, this was all before my time, but I hear he was a very good speaker. He could really move the people. He could get them to react for the cause, for our rights, because there was a lot going on back then. And he took a lot of hits. He got arrested a lot. And that's a hero. I mean, that's a selfless act. I really feel that he's a hero.
And I agree with you. He was a tremendously talented speaker, tremendously talented. I remember back in the day when he was on the radio And he was talking about the killing of a friend of mine, a very talented, popular guy in the community, Palmer Sanders. Palmer Sanders had been killed by a police officer behind Geech's barbecue years ago. And O'Malley was talking about that particular incident and others in our community. He had people who were listening to the radio at that time spellbound, spellbound with his ability to captivate with his speaking ability. O'Malley has been around for years.
Yes.
He's been around for years. I remember when he first formed the group JOMO, JOMO. And then they graduated from JOMO to the African People's Socialist Party, or the Uhurus.
Right. I remember that
And
growing up.
yeah. And even though his group was controversial, his group was controversial.
Anything against the establishment is going to be controversial. Yeah.
Correct.
Just making them do right.
But he was very bold in what he said. He didn't back down to the authorities. And at the time he took that mural off the wall, he had given the city opportunities to adjust on that mural, you know, because the mural was despicable. It had caricatures of African Americans with big pink lips and strumming banjos.
Yeah.
Had watermelons in the pictures. It was disgusting.
Disgraceful, yeah.
And he gave the city administration an opportunity to adjust, meaning paint over some of that stuff or adjust the picture. It was despicable. When the mayor of St. Petersburg at that time suggested that he didn't see where the mural was offensive. Yeah, he didn't see it. Then O'Malley took it upon himself. Well, you won't do anything, then I'll do something.
Right.
And he went and snatched it down. But heroes, as defined earlier in the report I read, are people with courage, demonstrated courage, noble qualities, high achievements. And we've certainly talked about people who fit the definition of heroes. And Jay, I want to thank you for this discussion. At this point, we're at the tail end of our time period. So I want to say to you, thanks again. And I want to say to our audience, thanks for tuning in to the Ray Tampa podcast. Our podcast airs every Tuesday on 99.1 FM, The Berg, at 5:30 p.m. And we invite you to tune in. And we also want to invite you to take a look at the Weekly Challenger and read some of the articles we have there. And tune in to YouTube and type in the Ray Tampa podcast to view the many podcasts we have on YouTube. And lastly, sponsorships are welcome.
Yes.
So at this point, we want to say good evening.